Greetings YouTube, Simon here, welcome back to the channel, and we just recently completed our first Final Fantasy IX live stream, and I hope many of you folks were able to enjoy that. But today I'm going to be sharing with you the first standalone episode, so this is going to be part of this guide going forward. We're going to be playing the game through the live streams, then as we come across useful information that I think are going to benefit even those that don't want to watch the streams, I'm going to share that in these types of videos. So we're going to start today with the stealing mechanics of Final Fantasy IX, since they work a little bit differently to previous Final Fantasy games, and the game actually does a good job at introducing us to these stealing mechanics in the very first battle. So this is the battle against the Masked Man. Now, as always, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who supports the channel as either a YouTube member, Patreon, or for those that, you know, show support through super chat on the streams. It's all very much appreciated, guys, so thank you so much for that. Now, here's the thing, unlike previous Final Fantasy games, you can actually steal multiple times from the same foe in many situations that you find yourselves in. And as I say, the Masked Man is a great example of this. So I'm going to put up on the screen here how this basically works. And effectively, each enemy in the game can have up to 4 items on their steal table. Now, each of those items will occupy a particular rarity slot, and you cannot have multiple items with the same enemy occupying a specific rarity. So you can see there are 4 rarities in total. They are very rare, which has a 1 in 256 chance of being successful if you try and steal. You have the rare slot, which has a 1 in 16 chance, the uncommon slot, which is a 1 in 4 chance, and then finally the common steal, which is a 1 in 1 slot, or 1 in 1 chance, 100%. So the way this is going to work, let's say you're facing off against an enemy that has all 4 of these rarity slots occupied by different items. Now, when you first issue the steal command, the game is first of all going to try and steal the very rare item. But as you can see, with a 1 in 256 success chance, it's probably not going to happen. So what the game is then going to do, if it is unsuccessful at getting the very rare item for you, it's going to try and get you the rare item instead, which has a 1 in 16 chance. And this is all happening off that single cast of the steal ability. Now, if the rare chance, for example, is successful and you manage to get the item, then that is deposited into your inventory and the game no longer proceeds through the rest of the item slots until you cast the steal command again. But if the rare chance item is unsuccessful, then the game will automatically try and steal whatever's in the uncommon slot, which has a 1 in 4 chance, and if that's unsuccessful, then if there is an item in the common slot, you're guaranteed to get that. Now, once you manage to successfully steal an item, then of course every time you use the steal command, that specific rarity will no longer hold an item, so the game will skip over it as you try and win the other up to 3 items from that enemy. Now then, let's talk about that very rare slot for a moment, because 1 in 256 chance is clearly absurd. You would literally be hitting that steal command many times, possibly up to 400 to 500 times in a single fight to try and get that successful steal. It's probably just not going to happen, let's be honest here. However, here's the thing, there is an ability that you can learn later on called Master Thief, which drastically reduces, or rather increases, the success chance of the very rare and the rare steal slots. So the rare steal slot has its chance doubled, so previously the 1 in 16 chance will now be a 1 in 8 chance. Obviously that makes things a lot easier, but also, this is the interesting thing, the very rare item slot has now improved by a factor of 32, so you're 32 times more likely to get the very rare ability, so the very rare steal with the Master Thief ability active. That goes from a 1 in 256 success chance right the way down to a 1 in 8 success chance. Now, the Master Thief ability does not affect the success chance of getting the uncommon or common steals. Now, there is certainly much more we could talk about with stealing, and we could do all manner of theory crafting, but I think we'll leave that for another time. Trying to keep things simple here since we've just begun our playthrough, and I'm just going to finish up with talking about the example here on screen, our fight against the Masked Man, which I said is a good introduction to the steal mechanics, and that's because the Masked Man not only has multiple items on his steal table, but we also have multiple characters in our party that are able to issue the steal command. So, out of the 4 possible rarity slots, the Masked Man has 3 of those occupied: the rare slot, the uncommon slot, and the common slot. Fortunately, the very rare slot does not have an item on it, so we won't be here for many hours trying to get that, since the Master Thief ability is not yet available. So the common slot is the potion. You're probably going to get that first. The uncommon slot is the wrist, which is an accessory, kind of useful for the early game. And then the rare slot with a 1 in 16 success chance is the Mage Masher, which is a pretty decent weapon that Zidane is going to equip a little bit later on. And it's recommended that you take the time to go ahead and grab all 3 of those steals. And finally, just a few of the basics I want to run over with you, just in case there's any questions on this. As I say, there's actually much more we could talk about, but we'll leave that for another time. It's worth mentioning that most items that you can steal can actually just be purchased from shops. So if there is a very rare item that you're trying to steal and you're not having any luck with that, then just check around on the internet. It's possible you could actually just go and purchase that somewhere and save a lot of time. Second of all, like in previous Final Fantasy games, it's possible that some enemies can actually steal from the player, but unlike those previous Final Fantasy games, in Final Fantasy IX, if an enemy does successfully steal from you, you will not be able to get that item back. Even defeating the enemy will not return it to your inventory. And finally, it's worth noting that stealing 50 times in Final Fantasy IX on a version of the game that supports trophies or achievements will earn you the Sticky Fingers trophy. Okay then guys, well I think that pretty much covers everything I want to talk about in this episode, so hopefully this will get you well on your way to becoming a Master Thief, and we'll talk about further more advanced details of the steal mechanics in Final Fantasy IX at a future date. So thanks for stopping by, checking out the content today. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to drop a like and make sure you stay tuned, hit subscribe, and then I'll keep you notified of future Final Fantasy IX content as I put it out there. So thanks for stopping by folks, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.